Yeah, okay.
Hi everyone, I'm here today with David Sy to talk a little bit about the unique therapy he offers. I think he's the only therapist actually that offers it in the UK, maybe even in the wider world, which is Tibetan rebirthing or revealing breathing. I wanted to talk to him today just to demystify the process, because so many people over the last year especially have started working with David who've never worked with him before and have seen amazing benefits. So welcome, David. Lovely to have you here today.
Lovely to be here.
Great. So we'll just start with the basics, really. What is revealing breathing?
Well, revealing breathing is Tibetan. It's basically Tibetan channel clearing. Right. And the Tibetans used this, the monks used it for thousands of years to clear the different chakras and different levels within the body, the psychophysical body, of any debris from other lifetimes that will be carried by the soul body into every lifetime. And the way that I heard about it was from yogis who studied it in Tibet. I was suffering at the time from ulcerative colitis. I had tumors in my body, and literally, you know, I was dying. And the medical profession wanted to give me drastic surgery, which is basically a colostomy bag. And it was my early 20s. And I just said, there's no way I'm going to have that. And so I heard about these guys. At first, I just thought it was not even plausible because I come from a scientific background. But I went and I tried it. Not only did I get better, I felt better than I ever felt in my life. Wow. To the point where I wanted to study it, and I did. And then I started working with other people. And as a pagan, as a witch, I started to incorporate other techniques within the basic technique that I'd learned. And revealing breathing evolved quite naturally. It wasn't that I was trying to do something different. It was just that, you know, if you're Italian, you just sort of naturally start to use Italian herbs in your cooking. You can't help it. So it became an amalgam of that. And it became very, very popular. I've been doing this now for 30 years. Wow. And there's testimonies to my work, how it's changed people's lives, and how they have in one lifetime been able to deal with things that would have taken several lifetimes. In fact, the Tibetans call it a foreshortening of karma. So you speed up karma. So what would have taken a whole lifetime happens within an hour. Wow. Which I think is incredible, because what you arrive at is clearing the path. You know, it's like clearing your backyard of leaves, and suddenly you can see the ground beneath you. You can see your own ground. And I think that's, for me, it's essential. Not only do I work with people like that, I give them free aftercare. So I'm always there for life. And people say, what do you mean for life? I say, well, it's my karma, you know, and nobody can pay you for that. And your karma is involved with theirs. So I have a beautiful family of people that I've developed over years, that I love, and they love me. It's a very beautiful thing that witches learn, metaphysicians learn, if they stay with the practice, this beautiful family gathering. So yeah, that's a long explanation to a short question.
I mean, I think what strikes me when you speak about it physically healed you, then I know you have a lot of clients who have emotional trauma, emotional healing, but then also I would almost kind of, for argument's sake, even people that don't have healing to do, it enables them to see their potential. So I wonder if you could talk about that kind of benefit, because it's not, I know people might just think it's just it's healing, but it's not, is it? It's also this kind of huge opening of potential to see where you can go and who you could be. And I wonder if you could talk about that benefit as well. So we've got the all round.
Of course. I mean, I have several clients, which I can't name at this point, but who ran multinational companies, who said at the end of the first session and one at the end of the second session, what I'm doing is a load of bullshit. I hate what I do, although everybody's telling me I love what I do. I don't love it at all. And it's actually smashed my entire family. And one of them opened a healing center in the Mojave Desert and wrote her autobiography, took me to lunch and said, I would never have written it without you.
Wow.
Huge, very famous company. What it does, it gives you an absolute insight to your soul's purpose.
Sure.
And there's no messing with it. You may not want to see it, but it's right there. And you can avoid it for the whole of your lifetime and waste the lifetime. This is just one incarnation. I mean, I always say to people, don't get hung up on it. Use it. And if you really are serious about metaphysics, if you're really serious and you really believe, or you have an inkling that there is more to life than just what you see, hear, and feel, why not put your head through the veil and see for yourself? This is where we start to be the gods that we are. And that's why the Tibetans laugh at us when we say, oh, there's only just this one lifetime. They say, are you crazy? Don't get hung up on it. You know, it's just a life. So what it does, it makes you see things quickly, takes you away from fear, liberates you, so you become fearless. Sure. And really, in this time we're living in right now, I would say that's rather essential.
No, definitely.
So, and it's just, there's nothing else to it other than just breathing.
And I was going to ask you as well, when is the right time to do it? I mean, I'm guessing people don't have to wait until they're in the kind of the state you were in physically, etc., etc. Is there a right time? Is there any time? And why is it so important to do it now with the state of the world as it is?
Yeah, it's a good question. I would say that if you feel to have it done, your guides will be pushing you and say, you know, go and have it done. I don't think you need to get as bad as I did, or as bad as some people who come to me do. You don't have to. You have to get to that point. I think the curiosity for for divinity. Sure. The desire for divinity is a desire beyond all desires, to touch the hem of the divine, to understand what it is within your body that makes it work. What is the motor? What is the spark? If there's an inclination to it and thinking that there might be something more to your life than what is actually presently there, then look into it, because the answer is within you. And I think and I always say to people this, just try it.
Yeah.
And if it's not working, then that's fine. You know, but everybody that I've had over 30 years now has been, I think I only had one person who was a tattoo artist. He did some tattoos on me, and nothing happened for him for about 8 tries. I mean, it was in one session. We went in 8 times, in nothing. Very hard guy. He was a very hard guy. And then on the 9th time, he went, oh, Christ, here it comes.
Like
it was like this express train of information and colors. And it changed his life. It literally did. So it depends upon your resistance. And of course, people who are sensitives, I mean, I would think anybody who deals with the subtle arts would be sensitive, otherwise they wouldn't be involved, will feel undercurrents of things that they can't identify. And when you go in, as you know yourself, suddenly there's a whole panorama in front of you. And then I help interpret that. Because I write it down, as you know, and then and we discuss it. I give my interpretation, which is open for, you know, the clients as well. But I never, and in teaching this, which is my intention now, I always say that the biggest responsibility is the practitioner. You never, ever leave somebody high and dry. I never charge for any after work. And that after work may go on for many, many years, which it has done with quite a few of my clients, which creates wonderful relationships. but you're there for them. You only charge for the session, and the rest of the time is free, because basically it's my karma.
Sure.
If I look after my karma, life looks after me. And that's the relationship I have with the invisible. So I don't have a relationship with human beings because they're useless. One that well, I mean, useless in the sense that the real one you're having with anybody at any time is one with divinity itself, even through other people. So those people who, bring you close to divinity, you adore them. And those people who don't, who bore the life out of you, you kind of, you minimize. Of course, divinity is in them too, but they've suppressed themselves so much that it's almost, it's almost negligible.
Lovely. And just, lastly, I think people kind of wonder what you do to them. As in, what happens, we're reading, breathing, rebirthing, do I give birth? Just, if you could just talk through a session, what someone, they come in, they shake your hand, then what happens? Just the basics.
Sure. Yeah, no. They hopefully shake my hand rather than my throat. No, they come in and I explain to them. I give them a kind of a mini panorama of what I understand to be spirituality. So I explain to them very briefly in about 15 minutes. And I look at spirituality through vibrational reality. So I look at it through kinesiology. And one of my great masters, Dr. David Hawkins, used it very effectively to calibrate spirituality and other material life forms. So I think it's quite a useful tool, particularly for people who are got a sort of logical mind. That doesn't mean in any way that they're spiritually illogical. It just means that they have a different pathway to it. So I use that. I do clearing prayers, very quick clearing prayers, which I also provide to my clients if they need that, to clear them of any entities that they might have brought in with them. I clear the place where we hold the session. Or, if we're doing it on Zoom, I will clear their entire home, their environment, and my own, of course. And then I ask for permission from the guides. So there's a whole, raft of little events that take a very short time to do. And once I've got the permission, then I explain to them exactly the techniques. So it's about being comfortable. It's about, if you want to go for a pee-pee, you can do that. You can always disturb your, there's no austerities involved. It's all about your comfort and feeling at ease. And if you come across anything, so then I explain about the breathing technique, and we work with the breathing technique to take people into a more subtle level. And then I just go, when we get to that subtle level, I ask them just to go back to the normal breathing and watch what they see.
Yeah.
And just to describe like a reporter what they see. So that's not to get, so they're observing, and they say, oh, I see a frog on one leg and a tutu, and blah, blah, blah. And I always say, well, tell me, even if it's illogical, because it means something, and I will interpret it later. And then, then we go deeper and deeper and deeper, following different lines. It's like a detective story.
Yeah. And
sometimes sorry, go ahead.
No, I said it's like you act as a guide through that, almost like a living guide. That's how I would describe it. In that, so it's almost like you're holding the hand. So if they do see something that's maybe not something they want to see or they want to back away with, you kind of help them through that. You're beside them, aren't you? So it's a really secure feeling, I think, from having done it myself.
Absolutely. I mean, there sometimes people come across death scenes where they're leaving life in not a good way. I always say to them, I can pull you out before that. You don't need to go through that unless you want to. I had one guy, he ended this particular life in the French Revolution on a guillotine, and he said, I want to watch. I said, you don't have. Why do you want to watch? He said, no, I want to watch. And he watched his head come off and roll into the basket. And then he ascended, and he was a particular kind of guy, but he was fine. He was fine with it, and because death has no sting.
Sure.
It has a bad memory. It can have an awful memory, which you don't need to go through. What you'll go through is what you need to go through.
Yeah.
And I don't let people go into shock, and I don't let people go into places of deep despair. I don't think that's useful. Of course, if they want to stay there and just experience it for a moment or two, that's fine. And then we process that. And then if we do another session, it might come up again a bit more, just to kind of clear it. Yeah. So there is a clearing that goes on. And if you clear it, what this means is that in one session, if you clear debris from the past, you don't have to then do it through your lifetime. Mm. And so if you don't clear something that's toxic from a past lifetime, say a death or whatever it is, if you don't clear it, and there's easy ways to do that without experiencing the pain of it, it will then color your life. Yeah. So it colors your life, and you find that your life is drab, or it's always filled with this terrible aching pain, or this thing that goes round again, or addiction, or blah, 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 blah. Yeah. And so once you clear that, it clears dramatically this lifetime. Yeah. And that's what's lovely, because you can experience heaven on earth. We all go through bad days, but when you have the good days, it is heavenly. So yeah, I would deeply recommend it. And if it wasn't for that, I'm not sure I want to hang around. Personally, I really wouldn't. I don't think I could have coped. I couldn't. I was holding too much baggage from other lifetime.
There are a lot of people that are in that situation now, and I guess my urge would be to tell them to have a session with you, especially as the world's undergoing some huge changes. There's so much anxiety, stress, depression. So much is rising to the surface in people now, and without plugging what you do, I think anything like that where you can kind of release that to be free to move forward and destroy that old karma is incredible. And I know people can do the sessions via Zoom, can't they, or via face-to-face. They can come to you to watch out for your retreats, but also if people wanted to book you to come to their locality for a day to do multiple sessions with a group, that's also cool, isn't it? So
yeah, it's really fine. It's a very lovely process, and it's something that I mean, you've done a session for me, and I adore it, because you're going into the mysteries. Yeah. It's people take ayahuasca and to go into the same places. Yeah. Personally, I'm not that keen about sitting in a room where people are vomiting. I don't know. Some people like that idea, but I'd rather just breathe rather than vomit. And it's a very easy, clear pathway, which is, again, as I say, thousands of years old.
That's true.
And I like things that have had that sort of antiquity.
No, it's true. And I think, like you say, I mean, even though we've not talked about it much, it's the after session where you kind of decipher it almost like a kind of, looking at a kind of magic eye paint, and you have this wealth of experience that a lot of these 2-bit overnight healers don't have, where you can kind of decipher it for someone, put it into context, and also kind of give people some actionable stuff to take out of it that they can kind of go forward and keep on growing. I mean, from my own experience, I've known you a long time. I've never known you to push multiple sessions. People come back on their own accord because they enjoy their own development. I know you told me once, I think the first session I ever had, it's like stirring a pond, where the sediment comes to the top and you keep stirring and you get to the depths the more you do. And I've had multiple sessions now, and I think the richness, especially now I've got rid of a lot of that old stuff, is incredible. And I think that's why people keep coming back. They don't just come back for healing, they come back for the self-discovery.
Absolutely, because the subtle energies, they speak to us, and the more we clear, the more we can hear what the subtle energies are saying. We can hear what the gods are saying to us. We can hear what the spirits are saying to us. We can hear what the earth is saying to us. And for any metaphysicians, I think that's essential,
Yeah.
I'm not crazy. I never have been crazy about some person telling me from their perspective what the gods are wanting to tell me. I would prefer that they tell me directly.
Absolutely.
And that's what you get when you come to a revealing breathing session. I'm not telling them anything. They're experiencing, as you did, you know, Amanda, you experienced it for yourself. It wasn't me telling you anything.
No.
So you got it directly. And I think that's, you know, head and shoulders above anything else, frankly.
I mean, I would say, just to leave it for anyone watching, I would say if they want to, we've heard it from you and I've said a bit, but we have, or you have some great testimonials on yogabeats.com, and also on the Facebook page and on our YouTube channel. So I would say if anyone wants to kind of just see it from another mouth, but then it's on there as well. So I think, yeah, thank you very much. I think we'll leave it there, and I would just urge everybody from a personal point of view to have a session, because it is, and I think many people have just used the words, and I don't use it lightly, of life-changing, as you know yourself. So thank you very much.
You're very welcome. I just want to add one last thing, if I may. You know, we spoke about spirits and we spoke about, you know, entities and all of that. But, you know, our star brothers and sisters speak very loudly through every session I've been having so far recently, because of their concern with what's going on the planet right now, Gaia. And I think in that panorama of concern and of love, there's a great love for this planet, for this being, this she. I think that's something that excites me, that I'm able to have this interaction with these beings. So yeah, thank you anyway.
No, thank you. Thanks very much.